start again.
Okay. Number one, Vinnie.
Okay.
Take the vote on number one.
Yes.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Town board to authorize the clerk to advertise for the following request for proposals for personal wireless telephone communication facility at Calan's Beach.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Town board to award the following bid for processing and recycling of yard waste to Trinity Transportation.
Councilman Malloy.
Table.
Second,
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
bid for disposal points for stumps and vegetative debris to 110 Sand Company and Omni Recycling.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Town board to award the following request for proposal and RFP for audit and accounting services to Albrecht Vigiano and Zurich Company.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes. Town board to approve the following. Conservation board to utilize the services of Alliance Reporting Services, an agreement with Municipal Services to provide municipal finance, appointment of Diane McQuaid as a petty cash officer, town clerk to issue a parade walk permit to the Greater Long Island Run Club, town attorney or appropriate official to enter the stipulation of settlement for tax certiorari matters, retain the services of Nelson Pope as a design consultant for the emergency vehicle preemption signals, rescission of resolution number 62 of 2013 at town board meeting of January 8th. Town board to appoint Joseph Segazy to the Board of Ethics for a term of office January 1, 2013 through December 31st, 2013. Town board to approve the salaries for appointees and exempt officials as per the attached list. Extension of an agreement with the Warehime LFG Services. A proposal from L.K. McLean Associates for the preparation of a new local solid waste management plan. Kenneth Bernardini, audiovisual specialist, to attend a workshop at Paris Island. M, town board to direct the town attorney to communicate directly with the governor for transferring of certain property. Peter Johnson to attend New York State Association. And Supervisor Vecchio's appointment of Kelly DeVito to the provisional position.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
All on yes, except M, I vote no. Number 6, town board transfer,
And
B a
no.
transfer, C a transfer, D a transfer. E, F, G, H, I, J, all transfers, as are K and L.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes, town board to authorize supervisor to execute the following. Agreement with Heart and Health LCC to provide heart screenings. Agreement with New York State Office of Parks and Recreation for use and maintenance of Kings Park Boulevard and Flynn Road. Agreement with James Faith Entertainment to provide entertainment services. Agreement with John J. Malone to provide consulting services for Horizons Counseling. An agreement with Donna Reinesh to provide consulting services for Horizons Counseling. An agreement with Stephanie Sloan to provide consulting services.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes. Town board to authorize acceptance of the following: a donation of synthetic turf maintenance services for the upkeep of fields 9755s at the Vets Memorial Park on Mauritius Road, an approximate value of $3,000. To accept the following checks in the amount of $600. Check.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Town board to approve the following personnel matters: provisional full-time appointment, a part-time appointment, a temporary full-time appointment. I'll get this turned in a second here. Accept volunteer services of Thomas Lyman, and the part-time appointment of Jessica Butendari.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Town Board sitting as a Board of Site Plan to consider the following application by Jericho Turnpike Wendy's on Ledgewood Drive in Smithtown regarding the site plan.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
These 2 points. Oh, okay. Mr. Riviello?
You have two,
We have two read-ons,
read-ons,
Supervisor.
Supervisor?
Yes, we do. Okay, well, you can come up and I'll read this. Town Board to accept the County of Suffolk's application to the Empire Development Corporation seeking their approval of a Suffolk County Land Bank to better address the ongoing problem of tax delinquent, abandoned, and environmentally contaminated properties known as brownfield properties in the County of Suffolk through a proposed Suffolk County Land Bank.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes. Town Board to schedule a work session for February 4th, 2013 at 10 a.m.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes. Mr. Riviello.
Thank you, Mr. Vecchio. Thank the board for letting me speak. I am from Country View Estates. I'm the president of the Board of Managers on the Country View, right down the street from the town. And we'd be remiss in saying that the town helped us in the past. I don't know if you remember that horrible snowstorm where our landscaping people didn't show up. You bailed us out on that. You helped us with closing that road going into the municipal parking lot. We haven't forgot that. We're really grateful about that. I'm here about the affordable units. We have 8 affordable units in Country View Estates. One of them is in violation. I've been in violation from the beginning. The woman and her daughter moved in approximately July of 2007. She moved out, the over 55-year-old woman moved out and left her daughter there and basically never moved back in. We eventually went to the town, I think it was Elaine Leonard, the affordable housing, and we went to the town attorney. We gave him proof. We gave him records that she voted somewhere else, that she didn't live there. Residents were concerned that somebody else could have got that unit and didn't get that unit. And in the meantime, things got worse. The town did nothing about it. And the son moved in. Our son moved in. Our son has been a nuisance. Police have been called several times, not doing any harm to any residents there, but they had the order of protection, order of taking her to Stony Brook, et cetera, et cetera. And then we went again to the town, and the town would proof, black and white proof that she did not live there. She lived at 12 Park Drive. We gave all the proof that we have, voting records, and et cetera, and it was just ignored. And now the 14 or 15 residents are here, and we don't want to be here. We don't want to get up here and trash anybody, but they're afraid. I'll just give you what he did last week, that young man, because now the daughter has moved out, and we don't know where she is. He comes back once in a while. At 5 o'clock in the morning, the young man was down, lifted a manhole down, put a ladder down a manhole. It was in the manhole. What are you doing? I get up 5 o'clock in the morning. I go work out. What are you doing here? I'm looking for my ring, my $2,500 ring that I lost. The next night, at 11 o'clock at night, he's banging on people's doors, asking for $40 for people here. The residents are afraid. We've had 2 residents. One spoke to Mr. Creighton, Kathleen. One spoke to Mr. Wormheim, Jim, and you know what I'm talking about this problem years ago, and nothing's been done. It's against the rules. It says, the rules clearly state, you have to be over 55 and be a permanent resident, and she's not a permanent resident. She's never been a permanent resident. That's the grandmother. The daughter is under 55. The child is about 30 years old. They're in violation, and we need your help, and we need something done. Thank you.
I do have a recollection of this.
Prepared to address this if you
Well, I just need to tell you that this complaint came a year or 2 ago also.
Oh, yeah, this is the
Okay.
second or third
You
time.
know, all those apartments were given out by the Long Island Housing Partnership.
Yes.
Correct? I believe we did make phone calls to Long Island Partnership, and they refused to involve themselves at that time.
Mr. Supervisor, if I might, I was not here. We have complaints, at least in our file, from 2009. Jessica Schubert was the assistant town attorney who was looking into this. And it's not a simple and clear-cut case. Recently, and I guess it was June of 2012, Councilman Creighton asked me to look into this, and I did. I had the Department of Public Safety look into it, and the mother owns the premises with her daughter. That's consistent with what the covenants say. We recommended, would you have a counsel for the homeowners association to meet with him? We don't believe, and I don't believe it's our responsibility to enforce
Well,
that.
that's not what it says here, sir.
Okay, but I've read the
That's
covenant.
not what it
Okay.
says here. It says that you are responsible.
It's a
for it.
covenant that was imposed on the property as part of a rezoning. The board, and you know this, and the question really becomes, do you people want to take on the enforcement on your own regulations and bylaws? And you can. I believe Mr. Cohen is your attorney.
Right.
But I will tell you, our investigation indicates that the mother owns it, and
She doesn't live there. She never lived there.
Okay.
You want these people to get
Okay.
up there and stand up and tell you that she's
I am-
You want 15
Gentlemen,
affidavits? What do you need, Mr. Zolo?
Mr.
I-
Rubello,
Yes.
in all fairness, the apartments, once again, were given out, or the lottery was given by the Long Island Housing Partner Association. He now recollects for me, when I made that complaint, we were told that there was a legitimate owner. Now, we can't be in the detective business of knocking on doors, see if somebody lives there.
We did that work, sir.
Huh?
We did that work for you.
Okay, well,
What else do you
But
need?
I'm just going to, if I might, and you might not want to hear this from me, but I can't always tell you what you want to hear. The conditions are, number 10, ownership of all units shall be restricted to persons of 55 years of age or older. That's number 11. Number 12, occupancy of all units shall be restricted to persons of 55 years of age or older and may include one additional member of their immediate family or a companion, including a child who is 18 years of age or older. And what you're telling me is, I am guaranteeing you that a judge, if you went to court to try to enforce this, is not going to throw the person out, is not going to find a violation.
But there are two people in violation.
Do you hear what I'm saying to you? It might not be what you want to hear, but remember this. Ownership is by the mother and the daughter. They own it together. The son can come visit, whether he might stay overnight, maybe, but you're not going to be able to prove this case in court. And you, as a board, can spend your resources with your attorney, Mr. Cohen, and do what you want to enforcement. As we told Mr. Cohen, if you check with him, we said we would offer to assist you if you wanted to, but we're not going to take on the responsibility of enforcing that.
You're
because-
saying that a person under 55, two people under 55 can live there when the mother, who is supposed to be over 55 to acquire the units, never had any intention to acquire the units, but to put her daughter and her grandson in
You're
there.
not going to get a court to stop
How
that.
do you know that?
I know the law, and I know what's
You-
going to happen.
So what you're saying is this, that, what you're saying that there are people here who are afraid to come here. There are people here, this guy is a time bomb. I hate to say that, I've
Then
got to
call
mention
the
the name.
police.
You call the police, sir, you're right. I call the police going down the sewer. What crime did he commit? What crime, I'm a former lieutenant. What crime did he commit banging on people's doors? He hasn't breached that. He's been locked up for beating up his father in front of James Crest florist shop.
Okay.
The guy is a walking time bomb, and you're putting these people in jeopardy. And now we're on record that you know about it.
But it's not the town's responsibility, and you have the
I
ability
beg
to.
to,
you
it says
could-
it right here.
It doesn't
Our
say that.
foregoing obligations of the affordable units will be monitored by the town of Smithtown. Black and white, finish the sentence.
Okay.
Sorry, Mr. Creighton. I lost my temper, but it's upsetting,
no,
and
it's
it's
all right.
upsetting to these people here.
That's all right, I think we all understand and sympathize with you. I have a question. Who controls the complex?
Board of Managers.
Has the Board of Managers addressed this problem?
We tried to address the problem. We tried to.
How did they
We went to the
respond?
town, because it says right here in the book that we're supposed to go to the town.
The monitoring is for affordability. That's what the monitoring is for. That's what the monitoring is for. And again, you do have the ability, you have counsel. If you all felt that strongly about it, you could take the action yourself. Why come to us and say, do it for us? I'm telling you, we don't have the legal obligation to do that. You might disagree with me on that, and I apologize to you. I don't have to agree with you. I'm also telling you the monitoring is for affordable housing. We cannot, you're telling me you have this person who's dangerous and threatening. That's law enforcement matters. Deal with the police officers on that. Get an order of protection for the people who are afraid of him. Keep them off the premises. That's not the town's responsibility to do that. And I can't be any clearer on that.
So the woman who bought the thing originally, because it says in the affordable unit, that she had to be over 55 and never lived here and is getting away with it. That's what you're telling me.
I'm not
Can
telling
I
you.
go back for a minute? I'm going to use another similar situation. My son at one point lived in a complex like that. If he put the wrong flowers in front of his house, the beautification committee would come, tell him he had to take them out. Now, can't the board itself say, this guy's got to go? Isn't it their responsibility to get him out of there? We've called the police. I know Mrs. Hershenheimer had.
You know what our lawyer told us? He told us as soon as that we went into court against that woman who lives at Parkview Drive, she'd move back in there for a couple of months. You'd be out $4,000 or $5,000,
but why can
and then
your-
she'd move back in.
but why
But the
can
thing
your
is,
lawyer-
she wasn't there. She doesn't live there.
But why can your lawyer tell you that and you listen to him? I'm telling you the same thing and I don't know what I'm talking about. Why is that?
Well, because she'll move back in, but you know that she doesn't live there. You know that.
But so do you. Then have your attorney take the action because I'm sure he'll be as successful as I would be in court on this case.
Well, why can't they take it? Why burden the senior citizens of Country View Estates with a $7,000 or $8,000 bill
I'm
when
going to
it's not
make this,
necessary?
as my plan director mentioned to me, knowing it and proving it are two different things. In a court of
Well,
law.
I can prove it.
Okay, so why don't you
Well,
go to court with
Mr.
your
Craig,
association?
It's a violation of law to vote in a district that you don't live in. Not a violation, it's a crime.
The election law.
It's a crime. Thank you.
Jeffrey Ferraro? Linda Henninger?
Hi, Linda Henninger, 1 Meadowood Lane, Northport, New York, President of Kings Park Neighbors Association. On December 29, 2006, Senator John Flanagan announced that the Kings Park Psychiatric Center property had officially been transferred to New York State Parks. The 360-plus acres of property was placed into the Nissequogue River State Park. As the senator stated, for the residents of the community, this move will help relieve some of the concern regarding the future development on this site. The shift further protects the residents by requiring the state to continue payments to the Kings Park School District. The Kings Park community deserves to know their rights will be respected. This park will become one of the crown jewels of the state park system. I am equally committed to protecting the rights of the community. This is a park now, and it should always remain a park. These are the words of Senator Flanagan. Just today, Senator Flanagan has assured his constituents that he is committed to the entire Nissequogue River State Park. It is astonishing to me that after years of fending off one attempted development grab of this land after another, we stand here tonight with the architects of a new land grab being several of our town elected officials. What this board should be doing, instead of asking for the alienation of state parkland, is asking for the governor to move forward with a master plan for this property, a plan which would include recreation. Community members worked long and hard, sacrificing time and family to see to it that this former hospital property was protected, to see it was that the polluter of the property, the state, paid for the remediation. Well, the community, along with Senator Flanagan, protected this land. It is the Nissequogue River State Park. And again, by Senator's work, cleanup is beginning. To make any attempt of alienation of this land for whatever purpose, for whatever proposed reason, would be a grave mistake. It would hurt our school district in perpetuity. It would create an unalterable precedent. It is irresponsible and unacceptable. If this town board wants land for recreational purposes, look to the land it already owns, land that has been already designated for park use, or look to the state to do so through a planning process and possible lease, which would protect the Kings Park School District and the property from any possible undesirable developments such as leaching fields, and certainly by speaking with our state representative, Senator Flanagan. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike Rosado?
Members of the town board, I'm Mike Rosado, representing the Nissequogue River State Park Foundation. The attorney's request, the town attorney's request to transfer certain real property from the state located at the Kings Park Psychiatric Center to the town of Smithtown is not only insulting to the Nisqually River State Park Foundation, but also to the Kings Park Civic Association, which I'm also a representative of, and Senator Flanagan, and to all the residents who worked tirelessly to create the Nisqually River State Park. Our efforts have recently led to the first phase of the cleanup and will eventually lead to the transformation of the grounds from a former state hospital to an active state park. It should first be pointed out that the New York State Parks' recent response to the DEIS for the Uplands at St. John Land project. Not only did state parks express their concerns about the environmental impacts of this project, but they also corrected the reference that they also made clear reference that the property is no longer called the Kings Park Psychiatric Center, but it belongs to New York State Parks. So please refer to the property as the Nisqually River State Park. Secondly, the Nisqually River State Park Foundation has repeatedly asked Councilman Creighton, Warheim, and Malloy to support an effort to create the park's master plan, which would help facilitate its cleanup and provide a blueprint for the park's future uses, including recreational fields, but they have refused to help. The KPCA has asked that these same councilmen support the land swap with St. John Land. This land swap would benefit both the local environment and the community. It would have also allowed St. John Land to build their proposed CCRC in a previously developed portion of the park in exchange for preserving up to 80 acres of additional parkland connecting the Nisqually River State Park and the Sunken Meadow State Park. But again, they rebuffed our efforts. Even with state parks and Senator Flanagan supported these common sense proposals, these councilmen have been plotting for years to acquire this property, apparently for their own self-interest in an election year. Their proposal to acquire state park property makes no sense for a myriad of reasons. First of all, it would have negative tax implications for the Kings Park School District, which they are well aware of. If they were serious about using this property for recreational purpose, they would have proposed a lease agreement instead of acquisition. It's also in no one's best interest to piecemeal the development of the park before the creation of a master plan, since a plan would guide the park's emergence as a viable multi-use facility and determine what infrastructure would be needed to support it. The town also has several parcels of land that could be used for recreational fields, which has been pointed out to them on numerous occasions. So the councilman's interest in 55 acres, which is extremely substantial for recreational fields, is very suspicious and is very unlikely to be supported by Senator Flanagan and state parks. I got one more sentence. We implore these councilmen to do your homework, listen to the legitimate concerns of the community and your peers, and make sound decisions that have long-term benefits to the quality of life of our residents. Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Rizzo,
Right,
before you
wait.
go, did you say that we were plotting for years? Is that the word you used?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
That's the second time. Now, I'm going to tell you, the last time you were at a town board meeting,
yes.
you and Mr. Lehman made a very specific comment
Right.
that the three councilmen right here had a secret meeting with the county executive.
I don't believe I used those words, Councilman.
Yes, you did.
Those are your
I said a
exact
secret
words.
meeting?
And I'm
That's
going
what-
to tell you,
that's the
that's an
words you
out
used.
and out
I
lie.
excuse me,
Did you hear what I
my
said?
comments are on record, and I did not say a secret meeting.
I'm telling you, that is an out and out lie.
Okay.
And now your plan or your idea that we have been plotting for years is downright idiotic.
Well, I disagree with you, Councilman, because I've had numerous conversations with Councilman Werheim, who's told me repeatedly that he would like to acquire a piece of that property for development.
But hold on, Mr. Rosado, let's be fair here.
But tell
You go-
tell
let-
me, but
no,
wait,
let
first
him
of all,
answer.
tell
Let's
me
be
that's
fair.
not true.
Let me answer.
Tell
Let's
me
be
that's
fair.
not true.
When the property was looking to be taken over by ARCA to build 10,000 homes, I
2,500
began talking about that it would
2,500.
never be acceptable, that there was a lot of avenues down there for recreational development. That's far before any of these incidents were talked about.
Right.
This goes way back. Those were thoughts about saving that property, as opposed to allowing 10,000 homes to be built on it.
Right.
We joined that fight. We joined that fight. And I really think it's premature. This is a letter to see if there is any interest on a myriad of things, including the possibility of lease agreements, et cetera.
Right.
That's what we're doing. We're not land grabbing anything. And you, I believe, honestly, if we're honest with each other, you know us better than that. You do know us. And you did say that we held meetings with the county executive.
No.
This is what you said.
No,
You
you're
said
wrong.
there were three.
Excuse
me.
Let him
Allow me to
speak.
finish. Allow me to finish.
Okay,
What you said,
sure.
and it's not verbatim, is there were 3 board members that met with the county executive to discuss development on the psych center. That's an absolute lie.
Councilman Warham, that was not me. So,
That was
so
you- no,
before,
no.
so before
You referenced it also. You both spoke and both of you said it. You both said it. Mr. Lehman said it, and you said it.
first of all, you're accusing me of something that I never said. The person who said it just
We'll get the
owned up to
record
it.
out, okay? When
So
you read
let's
it.
be
I
honest
remember
with
you
one
doing it.
another. Now, we've had numerous conversations about you wanting to acquire a piece of the park property for development purposes.
That's correct.
You've always felt
That's
that there
correct.
should be mixed development on the property. So
That's
for
correct.
you, and you've been with him during
That's
these
correct.
conversations.
That's correct.
Councilman Creighton. So don't deny that's not the fact. Because what I'm saying here is absolutely true.
No, it's not.
And everything I've
denying what you
said,
said
and
that we
my
haven't plotted.
words are on record at the last meeting and at this meeting, and everything I say is factual.
That what, we're
That we're
after a
plotting.
land grab for property on the site
Did
center?
I say
What
you
does that
were?
mean?
Did I say you were land grabbing? I've said that you've been plotting
Plotting.
to acquire a piece of the property for purposes that don't have to do with recreation.
That's not true.
That's not true.
Oh,
That
it's
is not true.
Councilman Warham, then you would be lying to me
No,
if you said that wasn't
you-
true.
When asked, way back early on, when asked about my feelings on that property, I did say that. It would be a wonderful piece of property for mixed development for the community. That was before it ever got turned over to Parkland. After that, Senator Flanagan himself, that's
Right.
when it was up in the air as to what they were going to do. And honestly, a company called Arca was coming in after Lamb Associates were ridden out of town by the residents, which is their prerogative. Then Arca came in to
Right.
build low-income housing. And I believe they referenced at one point like 10,000
No,
units.
no, 1800.
Okay. I said that at that time that I felt that the property would be suitable for a mixed development use. I think Mr. DeRubi's even drew up some plans. There were recreation, there was residential, there was some commercial, some senior.
Councilman Warheim, with all due
No, wait,
respect,
let me
you
finish.
spoke
Allow him
about,
to finish.
When
you
that,
spoke
after
about
those conversations,
way past that time.
Senator Flanagan then came and said that the property to preserve it is going to be given over to Parks and Historic
Right.
Preservation. Asked me if I would have a problem with that. I said, absolutely not. If that's what we have to do to hold on to that property and preserve it, fine,
Right.
okay? But that doesn't change my mind about, is there room and opportunity for some recreational facilities down there? I believe there is. I don't believe it's a land grab. I don't believe that. There are possibilities for some nice recreational use along that corridor, in my opinion. Now, the state may not allow us to do it.
You and I have spoken about that, and you know, of course,
Did I
I
ever
agree with
speak
that.
to you about that?
And we've
You
all
do agree
spoken-
with it or you
we've
don't?
also- We've
Wait
also,
a minute, just one second. Have I ever spoken to you about development on the grounds of Kings Park? Development? Have I ever spoken to you about development? Remember, I got here in 2007.
right.
I'll be very careful how you answer that.
Right. You were present when I've had these conversations with Councilman Warheim. And Councilman
must tell
Warheim,
you,
Councilman
Mr.
Warheim,
Rosado,
you
you
said
are a liar.
repeatedly you would want to acquire 90 acres for development. You've said that to me repeatedly.
90 acres.
90 acres.
Well, Mr. DeRubi's is here. I think you're referencing a philosophical plan when we were wondering what state was going to do or what the town was going to do with the property.
Right.
Am I correct in saying that? There were some mixed-use developments. I think 90 acres might have been the number that were carved out for the development, and the remainder perimeter around it would remain green.
Well, right, the governor put covenants on the property
Okay.
that would leave 3 out of every 4 acres green and would allow 90 acres for development. That was before.
And I think that's what you're referencing.
That was before the 365 acres were transferred, the remaining psychiatric center hospital,
That's
365 acres were transferred to state parks
That's
in
correct.
2006 under the direction of Senator Flanagan.
That's Correct.
Okay, now you know that in 2008, we created the Nisququogue River State Park Foundation,
Correct.
and we've been fighting and pushing the state to clean up the property, which we finally, this past year, were successful in getting them to do.
And we
Now,
support that.
now, we've also asked you repeatedly to help to support a master plan for the property. The foundation has offered to put up $60,000 for the master plan.
Correct.
The creation, first of all, the cleanup of the park and the creation of a viable park that offers recreational and cultural opportunities would be in all of our best interest, certainly the people that live within our community. So we've asked for your support, and we haven't received it. We've asked for your support on St. John Land and haven't received it. And now you're asking for the state to give the town 55 acres. We can't understand why, because right now that would have tax implications to the Kings Park School District.
Well, we would ensure that it would be tax neutral before we would take any steps to do anything.
But why, so why not offer to lease the property
Lease from who?
from the state?
Well, that
It
may
would
be-
make much more sense.
That may very well be an option.
So why not offer that from the
the-
get-go?
If there is a conversation with the state of New York, all of those options will be reviewed. We're open
We
to
don't
any
even know we're going to have
suggestion.
a conversation.
The state may very well say, we have
We're
no
gonna
interest
ask.
in that at all, and then we will go back to the drawing board elsewhere. You're making it sound like it's a fait accompli that we're ready to go right in and start developing. It's not the case
We're
at all.
asking to send a letter.
Right.
It's to enter
And-
into some discussion, that's all.
Okay.
That's the only purpose of it.
Can we see the letter?
We haven't written
We
the
haven't
letter.
written it yet.
You haven't even written
We're
it.
asking for permission
If the
today.
permission
I mean,
was
it's
given
way
tonight-
premature. I think you're making an accusation here that I don't think you should really make, Mr. Zotto. I'm being serious. What, excuse me?
Wait a minute, hold on, we gotta record these comments.
You're going to
From
say
one person
something,
at a
step
time.
up.
What Linda is
I
referring
didn't-
to.
I did
it
not
says
write
that
the
the
resolution.
town attorney's request to transfer certain real property from the state located at the Kings Park Psychiatric Center to the town of Smithtown for recreational purposes.
Okay.
So it's transfer, it's not lease. So when we read those words, we're automatically assuming, because of the conversations I've had with you in the past, that you're looking to acquire the property.
Okay, well-
So we're saying, why? We've had these conversations. We've asked you, if you're interested in recreational fields, which we all know the community needs, enter into a lease agreement. But first, we have to support a master plan, because you can't piecemeal the development of the park. It's too complex. It was a former hospital.
Have you asked
need
for
a
a
master
master plan
plan.
for the
And within the
entire
master
park?
plan, you could call for a lease.
Have you asked for the master plan for the whole parcel?
Yes.
Or for Nisququogue State?
The
Park?
whole parcel. The whole parcel.
Of who? Who did you ask? State of New York?
I've written numerous letters to Senator Flanagan, State Assemblyman Fitzpatrick, Governor Cuomo,
That's fine.
State Senator Schumer, State Senator Gillibrand.
Have you gotten a response from any of
I've
them?
gotten a response from some of them, yeah.
and what-
And state parks,
Okay.
Commissioner Harvey.
Is there any indication they may do that?
Yes, there is.
Well, we don't know that. They've never divulged that to us.
Well, you should talk to
Sure.
us occasionally.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. As a matter of fact, this year, they're looking to enter into the second phase, they're looking to issue an RFP for the second phase of the cleanup, and we're hoping after that, they will issue an RFP for a master plan. We're told that's the direction it's moving. Certainly, Senator Flanagan supports that.
Okay, well, perhaps if they receive that letter or when they receive this letter, we'll be told that.
Right.
Can we move on?
Yes. So we would appreciate that you would hold off on that letter. Instead, write a letter supporting the master plan. And then we could all move forward together and hopefully gain property for our community through a lease agreement. Is that fair?
Sure, it's fair.
Okay,
It was always an option.
great, thank you.
Mr. Lehman, you want to be heard?
Supervisor Vecchio, members of Town Board, my name is Sean Lehman. I'm president of the Kings Park Civic Association. I just wanted to start out tonight really about the industrial area first. You have a difficult task at hand. We have a lot of problems down there. Most of the residents were coming from the area by the applicant for the first hearing, Tony Lettieri. It's a difficult task. The town can't come up with the right zoning ordinance. They've hired a consultant, spent $20,000 to hire a consultant, and they couldn't come up with something that everybody could agree with. Granted, we realize, Mr. DeRubius has said in the past that even with the correct zoning, this might still not solve some of the odor issues down there. The Kings Park Civic Association is creating a task force, working with other civic associations in the area, along that area, with residents including Smithtown, Kings Park, and Comac. And it'll give us some kind of a guidance on how to move forward in dealing with the town board and with the state, DEC. Just let me address what you guys were just talking about. Councilman Creighton, it was me actually who said that. And Councilman Wareheim, we had a phone conversation a couple of weeks afterwards where we
Was it
kind of
accurate?
clarified.
Was it accurate what you said?
It was me. Well, hold on. I'll tell you how I got my information. On October 26th, I was having dinner with my family at Sortino's, and I ran into Councilman Malloy. Very friendly conversation. We've always had a good relationship. He said, how you doing? I said, good. He said, what's happening? I said, well, obviously, we're opposed to the St. John Land application. Councilman Malloy told me it's going through. I said, I don't think it's going through. I said, there's many environmental issues on the property. He goes, oh, no, no, no. It's going through. I think you can recall that
is not
conversation.
what- we met.
No.
I did not say it was going through.
Okay.
Wait, no, let me finish. You're going to make a statement about me.
I'm
I'm
lying.
going to finish.
Okay. I'm
I
not
s-
speaking, I'm not loud with you, please.
No,
Be
but
respectful
you
to me.
are
Go ahead.
accusing me of making a
I'm telling you what happened.
prejudgment on an application that was not even before me.
Absolutely.
Eh.
That's why I was astonished that evening.
Well, let me tell you, I'm astonished at what you're doing
Okay.
right now because you're making a political issue.
Okay, so I guess I'm lying.
No,
anyway.
no, you misinterpreted whatever we
Okay,
were talking
maybe I
about. I said the
misinterpreted you.
application's coming. I have not even decided it. I'm not saying whether I'm for
Okay.
it or against it.
If that's
But
your
I'm keeping an
clarification now,
open,
that's fine.
I'm keeping a very open mind, like I
Okay.
do on all applications.
Are-
But to say I told you I prejudged, I haven't even seen the application,
Okay.
is an out-and-out lie.
Well, that's not according to my conversation with you, not according to what
Well,
I'm.
let me tell you, your recollection's
Okay.
horrible.
Okay.
Wait a minute, I'm not finished. You were also quoted as saying that Legislator Kennedy, County Executive Balone, were working on a land swap with some town council people in reference...
No, you better check the record. That's not my statements.
Well, then, who is it? Mr. Lehman?
No,
We're gonna
no,
find it,
no.
'cause it's out
Actually,
there.
I have it all jumbled up. Let me just say what it is. And I had a conversation with Councilman Wareheim, and I thought everything was squared away. But anyway, what happened that night is I went to the bathroom, I came back out, you said, well, we're very interested in developing the town. I said, okay. I said, Kings Park Civic Association is pro-economic development. We are. And you said, well, we want to take some of that property, we're going to take part of the hospital property, so we're going to lease it out. Do you remember saying that?
No, I don't.
Okay.
This is a very interesting...
It is interesting because I
conversation
was
we're
in
having.
shock that night because I've known you for a long time
Yeah.
outside of the town business. I was quite frankly pretty surprised how aggressive you were that night. So I figured maybe you just had a bad night. But anyway, we move forward. And I mentioned to you, you know, there's a difference between responsible development and overdevelopment. We talked about that a little bit. And then we agreed. You came over to my table later and you said, no, anytime you want to talk, you can come into my office. Said, even if you can't make it, come on a Saturday, I'll
Yes,
open
I
town
did.
hall to
I
you.
said
You
I'd
recall
make
that?
time for you.
Okay. As we move forward, you did tell me, you said, we've been talking to the county executive. You said, we've been talking to the county executive, and we're going to use some of that property. That's why I came up with that statement. Councilman Wareheim, I had another conversation with you in your office, if you recall, over the summer. Toby Carlson was your next meeting. I remember he was waiting out in the hallway. We briefly touched on it. We said, hey, county executive talked about a plan for the property as well. You said, yes, sounds like it could be good. I said, well, it could have potential. Let's see what it is. You know, we'll have to find out. That's fine. To the extent of the conversation, that's what we had. My comments were based solely, whether or not you believe I was misinterpreted, I misinterpreted them. My comments were based solely on what you told me on October 26th. And that is what you told me. I stand here, that's what, that's
Well,
just
I've just stated
Okay.
that your
All right, but-
recollection is horrible, and it's
Okay.
suiting your purposes.
Okay, that is exactly what you told me. I was astonished. I was in shock at our conversation because we've always had a good relationship outside of town business. We've had a good relationship, and I was just maybe you had a bad night, but what you told me that night was
No, I
surprising.
didn't have the bad. Why don't you contact the county executive and ask him if he had conversations?
Well,
about this?
I talked to Councilman Wareheim, and you guys did have conversations. Councilman Wareheim told me that the three of you were at a sewer meeting at one time, and you had some conversations about it, and that's fine. Listen, I'm not even saying whether that's a good or bad thing. I'm just saying that's how those comments came about, was my conversation with you.
We had a conversation about what?
Sewers.
Sewers?
Sewers, yeah.
Not Kings Park Psychiatric Center.
That's what Councilman Wareheim said, that was the only time you guys met
But
with him.
you said that we had a meeting.
I was,
I believe you said a secret meeting.
No, never said secret meeting. Check the record. I would not accuse you of that. I would not accuse you of that. I said the 3 councilmen have been talking to the county executive about bringing research and development to the campus.
Not true.
Councilman Wareheim, we talked about it.
Correct.
Right.
No,
I explained to
You
you.
realize it's not, now you know it's not true.
Right. I explained to you my comments came from
Okay.
my conversation on October 26th with Councilman Malloy. Correct?
Yes, you did.
Okay. I just wanted to address that issue, okay? As we move forward, on January 10th, the Kings Park Civic Association, in a full meeting, packed house, voted in opposition of the 55-acre for the town to acquire 55 acres from the state. We believe it should be part of a master plan. Absolutely. It should be a plan for the whole property. Okay, I'm just letting you know, that was the determination we came up with that night. There's a difference between leasing and acquiring. Leasing, leasing for recreational purposes means that you will lease it for recreational purposes.
Correct.
Acquiring, you can do a lot of different things with.
Okay,
Well,
now,
I'm just
look,
saying, so that's why we're in favor of
Mr.
a lease.
Lehman, I
beat
understand
that
what
horse
you're saying.
to death.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think you know full well, as does Mr. Rosado, that if it was to even be acquired,
Right,
if I make a statement that it would be acquired for recreational purposes, it will be only acquired for recreational.
right. Well, the point I'm trying to make is actually, I think a better direction would be to lease the property.
And
up
I don't
until the time there could
necessarily
be a master
disagree with
plan.
that. That would
Right.
also be acceptable to us.
Absolutely, and just,
And that may come from the conversation.
right.
If we never have the conversation, then we will wait for a number of years until the state accomplishes their master plan on a 355-acre state park. And that's okay, except that I'm not sure that's going to happen in the next couple of years.
We had Assistant Regional Park Director Brian Foley at our meeting a few months ago, and he actually said after Phase 2 demolition, that would be the next step as a master plan for the property.
We've
All right.
beat this subject to death.
Yeah. I just wanted to make it clear that we're in favor of a master plan, and if you want to look at the property lease, and we would appreciate if maybe or maybe you should just give Senator Flanagan a call as well. He fought hard for this community and fought hard for that property to become parkland. He should probably be the guy that you should be dealing with at the state level first.
Mr. Lehman, could I just get copies of those letters that Mr. Rosado, can I get copies of letters that you'd sent out?
To Commissioner Rash and so forth?
All the ones that were referenced, yes.
I mean, I'm sure we have them on copy. They've been throughout the years.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Mrs. Henninger sent some too. You want hers?
Just the ones that Mr. Rosado mentioned with respect to the master plan, it would.
Okay.
assist
That we
me.
were requesting a master plan?
I want to see the letters.
Oh, absolutely, no problem. No problem. No problem whatsoever.
Ms. Henninger, you will have to be quick, okay?
Thank you.
I appreciate the open-mindedness about leasing, how it keeps the park safe for park purposes, and it helps the school district, which is now, I just went to their board meeting, $2.2 million in the hole, just starting budget negotiations. They can't lose any more money. They're just bleeding over there. I do want to just look at the resolution and ask you if you would consider retweaking it, because there's a few things that are legally not correct in it. You call it located at the Kings Park Psychiatric Center. That doesn't exist. So, lawyer to lawyer, this resolution is not specific enough. And if you want to change the word transferring to options of leasing, that seems to be more in line with what you guys said tonight. So I think this resolution is written inaccurately, and I would like the town board to relook at it and tweak the wording to really represent what's going on here.
I don't know if that's critical. The resolution really was just asking me to write the letter. That's basically what the resolution does. It's not, it's a
No, it should be correct. Come on. Basically, that's what it does. The
I'm going to
legalities
move to close the
should be.
meeting.
Second,
All in favor?
Supervisor Vecchio,
Yes.
Councilman Malloy,
yes.
Councilman Wareheim,
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.